You're listening to RTI Audio, powered by Rocky Top Insider. This is Pancakes and Bacon with VFL, Kyler Kerbison, and Reed Bacon.
Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Pancakes and Bacon. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kerbison, joined with Reed Bacon. Have another fantastic one. The Vols win again in the blackout jerseys. So I'm wearing a little black to represent. Love a win over Little Brother Kentucky. So we're going to break down all that kind of stuff. But first, if you guys are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you're just listening, rate, review, download, and re-download. And follow us on those listening platforms. Let's get into the game. Let's break down all the stuff. But first, before we do that, Reed, how we doing, bud?
Yellow.
It's either yellow or let's go. There's only two ways.
No, that's not true. There's one more. There's one more. Think about it.
Yellow. Let's go.
What's up, players?
Oh, what's up, players?
Just in here trying to get me a month scholarship. All right, here's my quote for the day. And then I'll explain why. First down, Kentucky. All right, that's my quote of the day because, and y'all maybe heard me tell this story a couple times before, but it started, I was probably, I don't know if I was in 8th grade, maybe in high school, but my Uncle Lou, my dad, and George and I went up to an away game over Thanksgiving when I was younger. And it was a freezing game. It was when we went to multiple overtimes, which actually I think happened twice. But each year we would go. So it was the away in Kentucky game, and the Memphis crew was in for Thanksgiving, and we would drive up there and go to the game. And it was the four of us. Yes. And then Lee and Liz got added, and then Tyler and Jack went one year. Then we ran into you your freshman year, so you were up there. But I say all that to say it cracked me up when I went to my first away game at Kentucky and how they celebrated first downs. And I was like, you know what? That symbolizes Kentucky football in a nutshell. That their loudest cheer and their thing is first down Kentucky. And it was just over and over. And it's this is so lame. We get a first down and people just now we just kind of clap and cheer, keep going, let's go, and I get it. I'm watching my Titans and they're, they're struggling this year, but at least if the Titans get a first down, it's just that, which from the 300 movie Spartans. Yeah. And so that's okay. That's still a little much. We don't necessarily. Maybe if you do it on big first down, completions, that's cool.
I mean, the absolute worst is Alabama's.
Oh, you brought that up with the.
There you go. That's another Alabama first down. Roll Tide. The whole stadium goes Roll Tide after every single first down.
Well, that's what they do.
That's annoying. That is.
That's what they do in Kentucky. They go, he goes, it's our first down, Kentucky, and then they'll all say it or cheer. But it's so lame. If you're cheering on those first downs, get a grip. So, anyways, it'll always be, my quote will either always be first down Kentucky or CATS, cats, meow. So, Kyler, how's your weekend been? What did you think of the game last night?
It was good. Love the victory yesterday. Day before that, did the Halloween party with wife's friends.
Yeah.
We went as Paulette and the UPS man off Legally Blonde. So the nail tech.
You post those pictures to your Instagram yet?
I did.
I need to check. All right, I'm gonna check them out.
Yeah, check them out. Little bend and snap. We did not win any costume award, which was unfortunate. I did get asked if I actually work at UPS, which I was like, I don't know what that means exactly. Like, what are you trying to say here? Is that an insult? I don't know. Like, literally was checking in at the place that we were at. Obviously, everyone has costumes. Brienne's standing next to me. And then she's like, do you actually work for UPS? I'm like, no. And Brienne like tries to like recover it. And she's like, yeah, you're just sturdy. I'm like, okay, great. Like,
wait, where'd you guys go? I'm looking at the pictures. It looks great.
Yeah, we went on one of those like party buses. So
but with a group of people.
Yeah, with a group of people. But it was like when we were checking in, they like asked me if I actually worked for UPS. I was like, no, I do not.
Where were these pictures taken?
At that place. They have like backdrops and stuff.
So you literally show up there, check in, see everybody, and then you get on the party bus and leave?
Yeah, and then it's like a 2-hour drive and they bring you back.
Who's the people standing next to you? What are those things?
So those are worms off the movie Dune.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that last one. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, you look fantastic as always. I mean, you're about to get to the point where I'm going to get pissed off. You better start eating because you're looking slim.
No, I'm still over 240. Don't worry about it.
No, I said you're not allowed to get below 245. So, what'd you think of the game last night?
It was annoying to start. Because obviously you're wanting things to work out better, and you know that Kentucky's the team that they are. The broadcast mentioned it a few times how like Kentucky and the entire staff and the entire team didn't believe that they could win this game. Like nobody thought that they would win. Not even Kentucky thought that they could win. So it was very much like, guys, we can't lose this.
Did you ever feel worried about losing?
Not necessarily, no, because it was like we've gone 3 games in a row without scoring in the first half, and we've won all 3 of those games. So it's like, or 2 of the games. So I was just like, we can still win. I still don't think it's like end of the world. It was just frustrating, but it's never as good as you think. It's never as bad as you think. I watched the film, I review it, and I'm like, we're right there. Like, it's so close. It's just, our game plan for the next 2 games, the Kentucky-Mississippi State game, was, can we start to execute on those plays that we've been missing, where 10 guys do the right thing and the 11th misses? Can we start to build off of that? And I honestly think this offense grew last night. Like, I think they grew in different ways. I think they, people will say they opened up the offense, air quotes, because they saw some RPOs and hitches out to Brew. Like, people will be like, that's the old offense. That's what we need again. And it's still just, it's good to see that. It's good to see the RPO. It's good to see that, like, kind of revamped into it from, 20 to 20, we're driving the ball a lot of that first half.
But I want to clarify something, though. Because I agree with you, instead of saying it's nice to see those things, makes it sound like we haven't seen those things. It's nice to execute those things and make them look routine again. Because I was going to bring up the exact same point. It's like, man, it felt really good to get a lot of those hitches back into it and some of those RPOs, and that where they were productive, routine, and we didn't kill ourselves on all of them. So I agree completely.
Yeah. And it was probably a good coaching point, like over the bye week, like just looking at Kentucky and their defense, they were probably like, hey, they're going to give you some cushion. So we're going to hit these little 5-yard hitches on the outside. Yep. And then in these RPOs, like, that is literally the quarterback's call. Like, it is all up to Nico. In these RPOs, there is 3 options, and he gets to pick which one. throw it outside to a wide receiver, hand it off to Dylan Sampson or any running back, or take it yourself. So there's 3 options he gets to pick. We did it all the time when I was there with Dobbs, and he would do a very good job of making that decision and making a correct one. So it's just like all about the quarterback's decision making on those. So it's good to see those. And then I was getting absolutely furious with the broadcast and their lack of attention to detail. And it just really sucks because it's like, I like Cole Kubelik. I really don't like the Jordan Rogers guy. And it's an ESPN broadcast. It's on SEC Network, but it's an ESPN broadcast. And it literally is just like them not paying attention, right? Like them just like not putting in as much effort as they would usually do if Kirk Herbstreit is on the call. And I'm like, what? Why is there a drop-off? Why is it that Cole Kubelik is breaking down a fucking blitz pickup from the first half while the ball is snapped and I don't get to see the play? Why is it that Jordan Rogers talks about how, they're really slowing down this explosive offense that Tennessee has when we haven't been explosive for 6 weeks? How do you not freaking know that? How do you comment that, I didn't expect Kitzelman to get the ball? What are you talking about? You didn't expect Kitzelman to get the ball. Have you watched any game that we've played this year? Any of them? Like, he's a very important part of our offense. Like, that shit was just driving me crazy. The fact where I was literally missing plays that were being snapped because the broadcast couldn't get back. I'm missing plays because the camera can't follow the damn ball. It's just like, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
I think it's a very easy answer. I have the answer for you. Is that some people are not as good as their job as others, yes, and there's a reason there's a B, C, and D team, and it just is what it is. So I can understand your frustration. You do like the black jerseys, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought you did. Yeah, I thought they looked good. Last night was a different experience for me. Compared to what the past couple weeks have been, because I didn't go, and I enjoyed it. Went out to my my parents' house, and Meg and I just were out there with my mom and dad, and had some delicious Gavino's pizza, and just watched it outside with a little bonfire. And I was in a more relaxing mode, and it was very much like I never once thought we were going to lose the game.
Yeah, it didn't, the rivalry and the feel of a Florida and Alabama is so much different.
Agreed, Kyler. But if you remember, since we've been doing this for about 3 or 4 years now, there are Kentucky games that I'm nervous about going into, and there's Kentucky games that do keep my nerves. Whether it was, I guess if I'm not mistaken, the past 2 years that we've played them at home have been the blowouts, because the last one was the Will Levis, Danico Slaughter game, and we blew them out. And then last year was Dylan Sampson kind of putting us on his back and winning it there, but it was a back and forth game. Then 3 or 4 years ago there was when I was at Lee and Liz's wedding, and it's the back and forth, but Alontae Taylor House calls it on Will Levis again. So maybe I'm just more nervous when we do go there, but I just was very much of I think overall it was like I knew what this team was, meaning Tennessee, and it's like I know we're not going to come out. Did I want us to come out and play pretty well? Yeah, sure, but I'm to the point now where I'm not like, I think it's coming. I think we're going to connect. I think it like
hey, your expectation has been brought down.
Exactly. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I tweeted out against Alabama, like this is like watching a Titans game with Jeff Fisher or Mike Vrabel. It's an Iowa game, for funny, if you want to be funny. It's a Pittsburgh Steelers game, like Cody joked with us. So it's like, I just know how we're going to win these games. Now, it never got to the point where I was nervous because plays happen, whether it's Will Brooks pick, and that would have been sick if he could have house called it. To have 2 long pick sixes in one season would have been pretty dope. Mm-hmm. But like that pick, or then when we do score to go up 10, it's like the team did a good enough job to never let it get to a point where I was nervous. But I also didn't get frustrated like a lot of people, including my dad, who I was watching the game with, who was like, this is what we couldn't allow to happen. And I said, Dad, you're exactly right. Everything that we would have said not to do and you can't allow to happen was happening. Kentucky starting fast, big plays, us not answering or not capitalizing on offense, having some sloppy play with misassignments or turnovers and penalties and stuff like that. Like, we did everything we could to let Kentucky have the recipe to beat us, like Arkansas did, but we closed it out and we made the plays that needed to play. So for me, I was like, that's kind of how I thought Tennessee would win the game. Did I hope we would run amok? Did I hope we would go wild on offense and hit some of these deep shots? Yes. But I'm to the point now where I'm not going to believe it until I see it. So you won't hear me say, because I've heard everyone say it, like we've said it. We were on with Boogie and Coach Jay. They thought it was going to happen too. We were like, hey, coming in the bye week, like, this is a great week for it. Everyone on the radio is like, this is the right week for it. But I'm done with it. Like, if they go and look good against Mississippi State, I'll be like, okay, cool, awesome. We look good offensively. But I'm still legitimately to the point where just show up, win each game each week, and that's all that matters. And so going into Mississippi,
your explanation and like what you said, like, we can't let this happen. That is those words in general, like the way that you use those words, we can't let this happen, is correct when the opponent is someone else. Like, it very much felt like we can't let this happen when we play Georgia. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
No, I disagree there, because I think at home and against Georgia, if we let this stuff happen, Tennessee won't have a chance to win that game. I'm saying when you're playing an inferior opponent, whether you're on the road or at home, you can't allow them to get up early. You can't let them have momentum. You can't let them keep the game close towards the end of the game. That's what we did. I disagree. If we play like this, and don't do certain things early, I think it could be, I don't think
you're saying the exact same thing I am. You're a little confused. We are agreeing on this. I'm saying you can't let this happen. If this were to happen versus Georgia, we lose the game.
Oh, right. Yes.
So you can't let this happen. Versus Kentucky, we technically could, right? You just said we can't let this happen, but we still won.
Right.
So it's like the words you use, it's like very poignant. I like that. I like those words. We can't let this happen. It is very much like, these are the things that our offense has continued to do that we talked about last week. We're for this game in Mississippi State, we're hoping that those can't let it happen stuff changes, because we even did that versus Alabama and versus Florida and still got away with it.
Yeah.
Because our defense has been so elite and our defense has had our back like crazy. And it's like, we continue to have these can't let this happen, where it's a fumble in the red zone. It's a holding that pulls us out of field goal range. It's false starts.
Missed field goals. That's like, you can't let this happen. The only time you can is when you have like the most elite defense you've had in like 50 years and you're playing a far inferior opponent. And that's the only time you can get away with it. Yeah, but and agreed, you can get away with it, but it beat us in Arkansas. We didn't get away with it in Arkansas, meaning that this is a very, very good defense, elite defense, but unfortunately they played as well as they could, but they still weren't good enough to get us the win in Arkansas. So I guess the whole point of this is, like, I'm sitting there watching the game, I'm sitting back relaxing, having a drink, and like I didn't get worked up, because it's like, like, this is
what I'm saying. I mean, like, you see the things that can't happen, but you're still not in a tizzy.
No, I wasn't at all. And you're right. It's because it was Kentucky and because we are at home, but it's also because what this team has shown me. And so my dad was getting a little fired up and was like, because he was saying, like, this is what you can't do when you're playing a team that's not as good as you, is allow them to make plays early, get their confidence, do this, that, and the other. And then I get on Twitter, and after one drive on defense, everyone's like, oh, I guess our defense took the bye week off. Oh, I guess our defense isn't that good. They're like, maybe our defense isn't that good because they're showing up like this against a shitty Kentucky. I said, guys, I was thinking in my head, I was like, it is one drive. They're not going to not allow a point and not allow a yard. That's not possible. And so I was just like, everyone take a deep breath, like, let the game play out. And then the game ended up playing out exactly how I thought it would. But I'm still under the belief that I don't want to say that we're going to win these games like this throughout, but this is just who this team is, and I hope it's good enough to win against Georgia and Vandy. I'm being dead serious, bro. Like, I mean, like going to Vandy, I know it's going to be a home game for Tennessee, but like that, you're going to have to make some plays offensively. And if you go out and you play sloppy and turn the ball over, they could get you. They just can. Like,
I agree. I don't think that playing sloppy and having missed opportunities that we're going to beat Georgia. Like, I don't think that will happen. This offense has to change. This offense can't have the performance it did last night and beat Georgia,
or the previous multiple weeks.
Yeah, it can't. It has to be better than that. So,
and Kyler, I guess
Vandy is a scare. Vandy is a scare at the end of the season.
And I guess my point to wrap this whole conversation up is I'm just not expecting the offense to really click. I'm just not like I'm not. They have to prove it to me. And my thing is, as a Tennessee fan, going into the rest of these games, I'm like, well, I know my defense is going to show up, and I just hope that the offense does enough to win. That is how I'm going into these games now, instead of this is the game where we're going to click, we're going to hit these things, because it's to the point now where it's almost sad. It's like we're overthrowing things and can't connect. Now we're even closer, which you would not think is possible, but now we're catching and dropping them. And then it's just like, and it's just funny. It's like the closer we get, the farther away we get. And like, and we'll talk about it on offense. The one that Chris Brazzell dropped. I mean, I know when you're going against you gotta, he has to survive the ground. I get that, but like the throw was perfect. The pass pro was great. Mm-hmm. I don't know about you, maybe a little foreshadowing here, but like I thought the offensive line had a pretty good game. I'd be interested to see what you thought, but yeah, like I just treat it now as I'm not upset that the offense didn't, like I'm not gonna let it worry me that the offense didn't show up, because I didn't expect them to really, and we did enough to win and we won, and that's what I'm happy about. But
moving forward, it's honestly like maybe a little optimism to the offense about like saying to them, hey, all you got to do is score 20 points. That's it, guys. All we got to do is score 3 touchdowns and we win, because our defense does not let up more than 20 points. Like, I would say that as an offensive coordinator to the offense, being like, guys, we're so close on everything, and I want you to realize this, that our defense is not letting anybody score more than 20 points. If we score 20 points, we win the game.
Literally. No, okay. Guys, it's not like, hey, it's not a bunch of pressure on your back. You don't have to go out there and be the best.
60.
No, exactly.
Score 20. That's it. All right, let's jump into the defense.
Let's do it.
Let's get into it. You mentioned it. People freaking out. The first play, hat on a hat, perfect blocking by Kentucky. They run it down the middle. I think Tennessee is expecting outside, trying to take advantage of the outside, trying to take advantage of the edge, because the reason I think that is because Kentucky runs a perfect counter play up the freaking gut in the A gap and does not run down the middle for, I don't know, a drive and a half again. And I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, they ran it down the middle and had great success. And then we're like, okay, pitch it outside, like toss it outside. Okay, sweep outside. Okay, get to the edge. And we stopped them. And I'm like, Kentucky is so dumb. Buffs is so dumb that they're like, well, we scripted these. We have to run them. I'm like, no, you fucking don't. Hey, if I was an offensive coordinator and my first play, I run counter and the guy gets freaking 60 yards, I'm going to go, hey, hurry up and run it the other direction. Get up on the ball, hurry, and run it the other direction. That's only what I would do.
Yeah, it's
like, hey, our double teams are working really well on the front side and we have good pullers. Okay, let's keep doing that.
Yeah. Don't overthink it. And that's one thing that I think is funny about video games. I'm in a big NCAA dynasty and there's like 20 people and we all get mad. at each other for running some of the same plays, and we call them like the cheesy plays because they just work. And some of them are really unfair because they're just glitch plays. Like no matter what you do, you can't stop them. So those are frustrating. But it is very simple to, the object of offense is to move the ball and score points. And if they can't stop it, why not run something multiple times? It's the Lane Kiffin and Josh Heupel and other really good offensive guys that they run some of the same plays over and over. Yeah. Sometimes they'll do them out of the same formation. Sometimes they'll do them back to back. And then other times they'll wait a couple plays and just throw a little different wrinkle, but it's the exact same play. So, I agree completely.
Yeah. So then they start trying to get stuff on the edge. And it's so our defensive, okay, we will let up one play, but then guess what? 4 and out. We literally forced a 4 and out.
I do have a talking point, and it was about Arian Carter, which once again, I think just the theme of these guys, man, it's just the theme of these guys. It seems like it's trending that way that this moving forward in the rest of the season, it's going to be Arian and T-Lander and Jalen flash and do something good, and then they do something bad. And I love how physical and fast T-Lander and Arian play. Those guys are heat-seeking missiles. Honestly, they bring it. You would never question their manhood.
Yeah, there was a good outside zone on this drive.
I still got to talk about the first play. The first play of the game. And so I played linebacker. I got moved into linebacker when we had someone get injured my senior year of high school. I had never played it before. Truly, I'd always wanted to play it. I was never big enough. So it was like living out a dream. But I played it for the rest of that year, and never did I once ever, or even consider turning my shoulders to take on a block when the runner was coming like Arian Carter did. And I don't know why he did it. The guy is obviously a better linebacker than I could ever dream of being.
Yeah.
But when he's sitting there, and I'm going to slide back because I hopefully will have enough room, but when he's sitting there, and so, just imagine I'm standing up in my linebacker stance, and he sees it, and he kind of takes a step right, and then he takes his next read step left. For me, I don't know why he would ever turn to look to see what's coming this way as a blocker, because then he turns, looks, he sees there's a tight end, and it's almost like he's a bull, and he sees red, and he's like, Bobby Boucher, I got to go hit that guy. It's like, bro, your goal is to tackle the guy coming. And so all he had to do was read step, jump out, jump over, because there's nothing in front of him, read step and kind of jump into the lane, put your head down, make the tackle, and it's a 5-yard gain. But for whatever reason in the life of me, I don't know why, but it was like read step, turn and look. And it's like, bro, it doesn't matter if something's coming. At that point, it doesn't. It's 1v1. If you do step into the pile and he comes and blocks you, then it's still causing a pile because now you and that tight end are in where he's supposed to run. So naturally, it's going to cause a pile up, and someone else can hopefully come in and make the tackle and not let it go the distance. But that was just really frustrating to me. It's like I want to just sit down and ask him, what, I don't like why. Why did you look? Because if you had just taken your step left, even if you feel that guy coming, it doesn't matter. And the only reason I'm kind of passionate about that and kind of speaking to it is because I promise you, on a much smaller scale in high school football, I made that play, and it's a routine play that a linebacker should make because you're not focused on who's blocking you. A lot of these times, these T-Lander and Carter, there's a point in time where you have to take a block on and you have to spill it for someone else to make a play.
Yeah.
There just is. But you and I have talked about it. There are other times where I feel like these guys block themselves, meaning they see someone and they're just like, ah, and they just go and hit. And it's like, bro, you didn't need to hit that guy. Just make the tackle. And so first play of the game that happens, and I'm like, I just don't think people understand how crazy it is that he's here, and all he has to do is keep stepping, shoulders are square, make the tackle, and he literally does this. And his shoulders are now turned. He goes to hit that guy, which is what he wants you to do. stuff like that, man. Like it just can't happen. And it would surprise me if Coach Inge is not teaching them something different. Like they're in there watching, like, Arian, you can't turn your shoulders like this. So I'm assuming he's getting coached that, but it's Inge's responsibility to make sure it doesn't happen, and it happens a lot where they go boom or bust.
I think it's about using your freaking hands, dude. I think that's what it is. There's just times where it's like they want to get their freaking head and their shoulder and everything else into the block, and it's like you're blocking yourself. Yeah. Like, as a bigger individual blocking you, I love it when you run into me.
Yes.
Thank you. Like, come here, because I'm bigger than you. I'm stronger than you. I move more weight than you in the weight room, and I'm about to move you off your spot.
Yes.
So it's like, as a linebacker, as a smaller guy, as anything, like, and I absolutely love the way James Pierce plays pullers. And I think this is something that, like, NFL scouts see, other people see, is when he's at D end and they run a counter and they run a power and they try and come block him out, he does not, like, shoulder into him. He doesn't go one arm. He doesn't turn his shoulder, go off shoulder. He doesn't put his head in. He literally stabs both hands into the dude and lifts him up and literally holds him there. And James Pierce has done it multiple times to pullers, and that's so impressive as a defensive end, because what you do is you hold up that guy, you mess up the puller behind him, and you're sitting there eyes on the running back and quarterback exchange. So you're not looking at that blocker. You don't even pay attention to him. I remember J.J. Watt saying that, like, they're like, how do you get so many batted balls? Like, how do you do that? And he's like, honestly, because I'm not looking at the offensive lineman. Like, I'm playing defense with my feel. I'm playing defense with, like, hands coming at me and avoiding them. I'm playing defense off gaps, but I'm not really looking at the offensive linemen that are trying to block me. And that's kind of how you have to play. Like, your eyes kind of have to be paying attention to something else, the backfield, what that quarterback's doing, and not necessarily like, what number guy is blocking me. Like, who is the guy coming to block me? Like, you shouldn't even realize that. It should be so quick and fast.
Agreed. And that's just a spidey sense. That's just the having good football. I'm not even gonna call it IQ. It's just like, it's just spidey senses, bro. It's just one of those things that you kind of have to have. And there were times where I did that, and I got my eyes looking in the backfield and didn't take the block on well enough, and I got pancaked or dumped in high school. Didn't happen often. Calm down. But like when you are, I mean, it's specific because, then if I'm 200 pounds and I'm taking on someone that's 270 or 250, 260 in high school, and I go and hit and I try to use my hands and I'm kind of like trying to peek and look, if he gets in on me, it's done. Mm-hmm. And it's not a manhood thing with T-Lander and Arian, like I said, because no one would question their toughness. They will run into a damn guard or tackle or anyone as hard as anyone and absolutely rock them. But there's a point in time where it is not beneficial to just ramrod in there and take on a block because you were doing the job for him. And it is a very dicey game because even at safeties, corners, and the nickel have to do this a lot too, where you are caught looking, and if they get up on you and you get into that hand fighting battle where you're trying to like, oh, I want to go this way, I want to go this way. And next thing you know, that tight end or that receiver or whoever's just driven you 15 yards downfield. Yeah. And that's why I don't mind it if I see a guy do a little dip up and under, and it's like I don't think he's scared to take on the block. He's beating the block with his speed, which is what you should do. And the last thing about that play with the hands, Arian couldn't even have a chance to play with his hands because he turned his shoulders. Like even if he went to hit that guy and hit him with his hands, it doesn't matter because the guy was running this way. He didn't have to do that in that play. But anyways, let's keep moving.
Anyways, here we are, 33 minutes into the podcast. We've talked about one play. So rest of that drive, defense bows its neck, forces a turnover on downs. Will almost has that interception in the back of the end zone.
Yep.
Which I thought was, Turrentine's all over him. So I thought that was good. I thought the fourth down, I thought it was just great coverage by everybody. It's man coverage. You got Caleb Perry sticking all over his guy, Ricky Gibson sticking all over his guy, Jermon McCoy sticking all over his guy, and Will Brooks all over his guy. Everybody is covered, and they try bat the ball down. Ricky, turnover on downs, great. Give our offense the ball.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I do have a lot of points on just this very first drive, and I don't have as many moving forward, so don't think this is what's going to be the whole pod for me. I'm talking to you, not the listeners there. They called on the jet sweep where it was called offsides. They called offsides on Tyree, but they didn't do it. I'm sorry. They called offsides on Tyree West, but it was not him. But I loved how he played it. He comes off the ball. Yeah. The running back gets it, but he still takes a hit on the quarterback. Caleb Perry and JT both were scraping hard. Once again, this was a good part about it. JT took on the block hard, kept his outside arm free. Jamon McCoy was coming off his block coming up. So I love that. We just talked about it. AC and JT trigger super hard, and they fight super hard and take on a really good block. And this time Eason's able to make the tackle. Yeah. 3rd and 7, I looked at my dad right when they snapped it, and I saw him start running. I said, "Hey, that's a good play call by Kentucky," but that they just told us they're going for it on 4th. Like, he's not running a draw on 3rd and 7, and that told me right there. It's like, well, Kentucky's not. They know they don't have anything to lose. Like, why not go for it? Now, in hindsight, 2020, those 3 points could have been a big deal, and that's just one thing you don't know. At the start of the game, you're trying to send a message to your team like, we're going to play aggressive, we're going to go for it. But those 3 points would have come in huge at the end of the game. You just don't know that. So I understand. But here's my talking point. Once again, I'm looking at my dad. I said, hey, they're going for it on 4th. I said, I'll be shocked if it's not play action. They're going to play action, going to try to hit something quick. And the one thing, Kyler, that we talk about with this defense being elite, we talk about how elite the defensive line is and how good those guys are and how deep they are. We talk about that. We talk about, not giving up touchdowns, and you and I have hounded on negative plays, resetting the line of scrimmage, how they bow up when the back's against the wall. And it's like, this is the perfect example that it's 4th and goal or 4th and 2, whatever it is. Yep. And what makes them elite is not what was physical on this play, but mental. And their eyes are perfect. I just got done. I bet the Lions because I'm a savage, and the Titans are terrible. But, I still watched some of that game last week. And in there, the Titans, these are professionals, and they are getting absolutely murked on short yardage and goal line stuff because one asshole doesn't have his eyes in the right place. Mm-hmm. And it's so juvenile, so routine. It's like, they call the play in. I'm in defense. I'm like, all right, I know what I have here. I know I have this tight end in man coverage. So for me, it's like they can run it and I'll react, but there ain't no way this tight end is getting a play action pass on me. It's just not happening.
Yeah. No, this is my job.
Right.
I trust everyone else to do theirs.
It's
like on the jet sweep. It's a prime example. The way you called out him playing that play, Eason. Like playing that play the way he did.
Tyree West, yes.
Tyree West, that was it. Tyree West playing the play the way he did. He trusts that the jet sweep is getting picked up by other people.
Yes.
He doesn't have to go to the jet sweep. He can hit the quarterback.
Agreed. Agreed. And that's why I shouted that play out because and that's what this defense does time and time again in third down, real important third downs, real important 4th downs. Whatever the case may be, they're not just elite physically. It's the eye discipline because you already shouted out for me and say everyone was sticky. Everyone was on their perfect. I mean, the Titans, a professional team, should go watch how we play defense there and say, if you just do your job, and it's some selfish to me, I'm being selfish. Like, you know what? We might give up a touchdown here, but it ain't going to be my ass. I'm not going to turn around and look and see my tight end butt naked in the end zone catching a pass because I bid on a play. I'm going to trust my D-line or the linebacker. So that's what is so elite about these guys is that they are locked in and bought in. And we have some older guys with Will Brooks and Andre Turntime. But Ricky Gibson's, he's not old. I mean, he's a straight freshman straight freshman. You got Christian Harrison, who has been in the program. This is his first meaningful snaps. Ricky Gibson, Jamon McCoy, these are young guys, and for them to be that disciplined, and then even with the coverage too, is we didn't bite on the play action. We had a rat/robber in the middle of the field to try to take stuff away. I was just so impressed, and I had to give that a shout out. It's like it's not just physically elite. It is also mentally and eye discipline. Yeah. And that's what gets me off, man. I love that stuff. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. So force it on, turnover on downs. The next time the defense is out there, This is the eventual touchdown drive. Their first big gain, they do kind of like a double post on the outside, and it moves guys out of the way with the first one. Then the second one comes between in kind of the zone, the I guess open area of the zone, so they get a big completion there. Elijah does a fantastic job squeezing through a double team. Just how the hell does Elijah Simmons get skinny? Like, what kind of statement? What kind of sentence is that? But
it was impressive.
But he does. He gets skinny. Gets into the backfield. Ricky gets beat on the 50-50 ball, and they also call the PI on him.
It was PI.
It was PI. He's holding. If you're going to call it there, call it on Brew.
Agreed.
Later on in the game.
Agreed. You know why I think they didn't is because, well, never mind. Just continue. Yeah, you're right. You got to call them both.
But next play, Ricky does a fantastic job taking a man across the field in motion, follows him the entire way, then makes an open field tackle. So it's like good and bad. And then they line up the tight end at the tackle position. Once you slow it down and watch it, you're like, oh, no one realizes that is a eligible wide receiver, and that is why he's open. Linebackers don't realize that, no, that's the tight end. And I've seen this play before. I've seen Alabama run it. We even integrated it into the offense when I was at Tennessee, and I was supposed to be the one to like bump over or whatever. But when plays like this happen, and I've told you this before, when you got to pull out some trick stuff in the first quarter and like really to like actually score touchdowns and actually score points, then I know you don't have that much in your back. You're using up everything you got. You're laying out all your cards on the table right now.
Yeah.
So, like, if we can hold in this, then we're gonna be fine.
I don't disagree. I thought they had good pass protection and threw the nice ball. They just caught us in zone on that one deep one. So kudos to Kentucky. The play with Ricky, not only was it a fantastic play, but it also speaks to his maturity and once again why this defense is elite. A younger guy, first year starting, doesn't let the previous play beat him.
Yeah.
I can speak personally. If I just given up a big PI on third down
and
like
a 50-50 ball,
I'm probably thinking about that one. And then that could make you be the smallest step late. And on the small step late, instead of tackling the guy immediately, maybe he breaks it and gets upfield for the first down. So that's just another example of the culture of this team and the culture of the defense. It's like that play did not beat him twice, which I love that. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Okay, so they end up scoring. Next drive on defense.
I'm sorry. Only other thing too on that touchdown. Sometimes you blitz right where the play's going. Whether sometimes you blitz and they get a draw or screen right behind you. That when we blitzed, the only comment I have besides that is like it was a good play by Kentucky. My only comment is like Christian Charles. I know you're coming across. I know that stuff. You have to wrap up and make that tackle. You have to live to play another day.
Yeah.
Elite defenses make that tackle, make them snap it again.
Yeah, that's true. Christian kind of went for the legs and didn't really wrap up. But if they would even realize that he was an eligible receiver, I don't think it's as big.
It might be, and that could be.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think they noticed until it was too late. Okay, so next drive. This is Turrentine's interception drive. Yeah. So that's how it ends. I got good effort by Big O on a screen.
Yes.
It's a two-way screen look, and he keeps running. I think they get a first down on it.
Him and Bryson.
Yeah, they both just keep running and a lot of effort, and that guy ends up getting hurt, I think. Yes. Bryson Easton and Big O both in the backfield on an inside zone. They both split double teams. And it's like, dude, when your interior defensive linemen get into the backfield like that, there's literally nothing that works on offense. There's nothing.
It was a really, really good play by Big O. It was an amazing play by Bryson Eason with his speed. And I don't know if you noticed it. It was a really, really nice design and disguised by Ricky because he came on a corner blitz. You get a really – and I don't know if this was taught or just happened to be that play, but that receiver is extremely bunched in on his lineup. And so it doesn't take any time for Ricky to get in there. Yeah. And I love that corner blitz because he set the edge and he was in on the tackle as well. So
yeah. Vandergrift tries to roll out. Omar puts his hands out on the sideline.
So stupid. You can't do that crap.
Dumb. You cannot do that. Omar toes that line like
he scares me. In the Bama game, I thought he was in the Bama game where Boo and him went back, or Boo and the Alabama guy went back and forth, and luckily Boo made the Alabama guy go first, but then Boo still swung or slapped, which could have been offsetting penalties and made it 4th and 6 instead of 4th and whatever. But when Omar Norman Lott went like he was going to punt that ball, if he had punted that ball, my whole love for him would have just gone because you can't do that.
No, I agree. Let's see. Oh yeah, Vandergrift just throws kind of outside of the wide receivers kind of zone that he's in, and he has to kind of dive out and try and go for it because it's just he's just dropping, right? Yeah. He was just doing a little all right, let me find an open zone here. I think Christian Charles did a good job kind of coming in between that, and he just kind of threw an errant ball, which I said in last podcast, I was like, this guy will throw the ball to you. He will. And then Turrentine just really good, heads up, eyes up play to get underneath the ball and make the pick.
Yeah.
So next drive, this is a 3 and out.
This is
a block. They get a block in the back to start the drive. Then they get a false start. So that puts them back again. And then they try and run or try and throw it, pass complete. Then they do a running back screen. And this is all after our fumble, the Dylan Sampson fumble. So our defense just steps up, 3 and out, and Will Brooks coming on that run back screen, screaming upfield, and just incredible tackle.
So it was awesome that he read it, shot his gun, got in there, made a nice hit, dislodged the ball. Only other thing I have on this one is AC triggers super well, and he runs in there, and instead of making the tackle, he just lowers his shoulder and runs into a pile of another defender and an offensive lineman blocking that defender, and then he realizes that the guy bounces it out, so he runs in like a bat out of hell, hits the guy. Then he has to readjust, try to make a tackle. He dives. He misses the tackle. And I'm like, bro, your speed and athletic ability and stuff, when you shot that gun so well, get there and just screw the block, man. Play the running back. I don't know what he's doing. It's just frustrating because not only his physical tools are so gifted, but he shows you where it's up and down. It's good and it's bad. So other than that, he triggered super well and he had a chance to be awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So next drive, I got Big O. He just beats the guard one-on-one pass pro for the sack, which is great. Then they get they try and run with the quarterback holding on Big O. Then there's a false start. I mean, we had 5 false starts. They had 5 false starts, kneeling effect, still happening, still going on. And let's see.
Joshua Joseph back-to-back.
This is a great play by him because, honestly, there was a hole. On that side of our defense, there was a hole. There was a play to be had. There was a big run to be had. And Joshua Joseph just outside beats the tackle and then squeezes back into where the running back is and makes the tackle right there at the line of scrimmage. And it's just a great play by him.
Back-to-back plays.
Yeah, and then they run inside zone on 3rd and 27.
And he makes a tackle again. He did it. Joshua Joseph literally did the exact same thing 2 plays in a row.
Yeah. So just great job by him. Next drive, I got they run a little counter, and this is like one of the good plays that I saw from Jalen Smith, where he meets Buddy in the hole and
Eats
sticks
him.
him.
Eats him. I will give shout out at Aaron Carter. This time took on the block really well, and this is when he needed to take on the block really well. But he did a good job on that one. But yeah, Jalen ate Buddy.
Yeah. We get a rough in the passer on Hobbs. He hits him in the helmet.
A little tic-tacky.
Yeah, it is. It's very close. Gives them the first down. They do a little dump off to the tight end in the flats. I thought the flats were open a good amount in this game. And I think that's just like what Tim Banks was like, hey, like if they want to take the flats, then sure, they can have them. But like we're not letting them get these big crossers or these corners that they want to try and hit. Let's see. Oh, I thought this was a great open field tackle by Arian Carter, where it's in the middle of the field. Everyone gets blocked up, and it's Arian and the running back coming down the gap, and Arian's sitting there, good base, makes the tackle, and it's like there's the good.
Yeah, that's the athletic traits too coming into play.
Exactly. They run a jet sweep, and it's blocked really well. The running back comes with the jet sweep as kind of like the lead blocker, and he takes out Christian, and they get like 7-8 yards. So I was like, all right, well, good blocking. Could be really bad.
I'm telling you, they had some plays like they did a really good job blocking, whether running or passing.
Yeah. A good tackle by Christian Harrison the next play up at the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
He comes up and makes that tackle.
8. He has another one. He has another one coming up, open field to force fourth down.
We get called for a defensive holding, so we give him another first down. When we kind of like, hey, pushed him into third down, thought we were going to get away with this. This is a play. Arian ends up making the tackle on the running back, but JP takes on the pullers. It is a counter play, and James Pierce puts his hands in dude's chest, stops him, and Arian Carter's unblocked. And that's how you win ball games, is you do your job. JP is not making the tackle. He's not getting the stat, but he's doing his job on the play, and it makes a difference.
Agree completely.
Then we get it offsides on JP. He's trying to time the delay of game. They've been doing that a good amount at home games this year, trying to time that. Him and Omar done both. Let's see. Oh, Christian Charles. From deep, shoots as soon as he realizes it's a quarterback draw. Shoots, goes downfield. He's there. He's close. He misses, but then Christian Charles comes, cleans up, and tackles at the line of scrimmage, and then that's the half for them.
Well, if it's this, never mind. It might be a different one. I'm going to tweet out the one I'm talking about where Christian Harrison. You said that's what you said. Christian Charleston miss. Christian Charles,
he comes running, which is great from the DB position because he's in coverage. You realize this quarterback draw. We get everybody up there, right? Hesitate quarterback. Christian Charles tries to make the tackle, misses, but makes him bounce. And Christian Harrison comes up, and he eventually makes the tackle.
That's one of
great defense, right, by everybody.
Yeah, that's the one I'm going to tweet out because I was very impressed with the Christian Harrison tackle. It was beautiful, man.
The guy had a two-way option. He had he could have gone outside, inside.
It was just a great open field tackle.
Yeah. So that's the last drive before half. So coming out of halftime, let's see. This is great. This is great, kind of up and down by Joshua. So it's like first play, Joshua goes with the running back. The quarterback pulls it and gets a good gain. And then 2 plays later, Joshua does a fantastic job dipping around the edge, around the tackle, and causes a sack fumble. T-Lander grabs it. And it's a huge play for us
Yes.
as a team because
Yes.
we don't score when we get the ball first, and we're sitting there down thinking, God, our offense can't put it together. What's going to happen? And then we get a turnover, and our offense has a short field, and they score.
Is this the second turnover?
This is the second because the first was a turn time pick.
Yeah, and then we get another one with Will Brooks' pick, but then we also had a turnover on downs on the fourth and go. Okay, okay,
yeah. So this is our second turnover. We score. Our third turnover, Will Brooks' pick. We score. So in the second half, 14 points off turnovers. Thank you, defense. So that sack fumble, we end up scoring. Back-to-back false starts for Kentucky on the next drive. Back-to-back. Sets them in 1st and 20. Quarterback kind of finds a lane, takes his own number, gets like 15 yards in zone coverage. Everybody's kind of dropped deep. He ends up with like the running back kind of like lead blocking for him almost. It was just a good scramble play by him. And then the tackle and guard are just confused in pass pro and let the most dangerous man on the field unblocked in James Pierce. And he absolutely destroys the quarterback. Guy's out for the rest of the game.
I mean, first off, when you're watching it live, you're just like, what the? Like, holy.
Where did he come from?
I mean, it's like that speed is ridiculous. It was like that looked like fake. And then you watch it and you're like, no one touches him.
Dude.
Hey, shout out to JP to finish. I've seen a lot of guys get a lot of free rushes and they don't finish like that. And it was nice.
Yeah, exactly. Where is 27? That's what they should be asking every play.
Every play. But you know what? But honestly, like I've said, you don't want to just mention his name because you feel like you're knocking other people. Like, I agree you have to know where he is, especially on passing downs, but like everyone else is so good too that if they do try to double him or chip him, someone else is going to beat you.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I agree. Okay, so this drive, the backup comes in, they start running the football a good amount. And what I noticed is just double teams on Hobbs and Moy were working. Like, they were not able to split the double teams on this drive. And that's not to say that they can't. That's not to say that they haven't before or they won't in the future. This drive, they weren't, right? Yeah. Double teams were doing a very good job on both of those guys interior, and that's why the runs were working, okay, down the middle.
Both those guys are really, really good players, but they are a little bit lighter. They might not be as equipped because they're going to be more hands. They're going to be more hands and quickness, and to beat a double team, you can use your hands and quickness to do it. We see all these guys do it all the time. But yeah, after a little bit, they don't have the weight in their pants that Omari Thomas or Elijah have, or something like that. So
yeah. Just some shout outs. Ricky Gibson, good job shooting his gun on a quarterback keeper. Coming off the edge. Boo comes into the box kind of late on a run and lays the hammer on the running back, which I liked to see. Dominique Bailey, man, he gets in the backfield. He plays it correct. He makes, he sits in both, like makes the quarterback get confused. Quarterback pulls it, and then he jukes him out. And it's like, damn it, Bailey. Like, you played that right. It's like he's just an athletic quarterback. T-Lander ended up making the tackle. And then this is the Will Brooks interception.
Sat on that mug. He's
sat on that mug. Boy.
Dude. And like that is, listen, I don't know if that's film study because he just knew like, okay, this is what we might get here. But my favorite thing is, and I actually saw it earlier in the day. I was watching a little bit of the Ohio State-Penn State game, and Penn State had a pick, and the guy played it. The one in the Penn State's a little bit different because he drops back. He sees that number 2 goes out. So he goes, okay, number one's coming in. He finds number one, and instead of just going to number one, he does a little peek. Ball's coming, picks it off, house calls it. In this one, Will's like, all right, I kind of have an idea, know what's coming. He clearly showed that he wasn't really worried about getting beat deep, but for him to peek inside and then to jump it, awesome play, man. Huge play in the game because it's to that point, at least if I can speak for me personally in my nerve level, it's like, hey, like I'm still not super nervous, but like I don't want this to come down to the fourth quarter and we're only up 3 or 4 and all that stuff. So it's like someone's got to step up, make a play, and of course it's as I tweeted out, it's Robert William Brooks.
No,
it's a strong name. It's a strong name. Sounds a lot like Robert Campbell Reed Bacon.
Yeah, strong name, just like bacon. Yep. So Will Brooks interception. We end up scoring. Let's see. Next drive, I got Dominique Bailey chased down from the backside on a little read play. So he just keeps effort. It's well blocked on the front side. He makes the tackle. False start, backs him up. Let's see. It looks like Charles. This play, they get kind of a post open in zone coverage. It's a deep shot on third down. And looking at it, it looks like Christian Charles is kind of in that area and comes up with a crosser that's going across the formation. He kind of comes up towards him and leaves that open behind him, where it's just like, hey, you got Jalen and you got Arian up there, Christian. Just let them have that crosser. You don't have to go up and take that over. So gets behind him. This next play, they run the ball. Actually, is this that screen? The guy gets to the outside. And Jermod tries to make the tackle on the sideline. He kind of spins out of it. And they call a penalty on horse collar, but then pick it up. Do you remember this play?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And the ref, after calling the penalty and pick it up, says second down. He says it is second down. And then 5 seconds go by. They go back to the thing, and it's first down Kentucky. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? The ref literally just said to the entire stadium and everybody on TV, second down. And it's like they didn't even say anything else. They were just like, here they are. They're 7 yards up and it's a first down. I'm like, that was another thing that like went into the broadcast thing where I'm like, what the is going on? Why is everything so bad? Like, what is happening right now? Why do I not understand if it's first or second down?
That's how I felt with all that clock management stuff with Kentucky, or the different clock at the beginning or the end of the first half. And it's just like, is it 36 seconds? Is it 26 seconds? Is it 46 seconds? There was a little bit of some times where the game just felt a little sloppy and a little like, whoa, what are we doing here?
Together, dude. Get it together. Yeah. Let's see. Eason does a great job beating a front side double team. Gets into the backfield. And then this is great throw and a one-handed catch and a great catch. And Jermon McCoy is in great position. And it's just like, all right, well, I mean, that was a very good throw and catch for a touchdown. And then they run the 2-point conversion. And he's blanketed, boos all over him. And the quarterback still throws it. And it's like, okay, think about it like this. I got a guy crossing in the back of the end zone, okay? I have a quarterback rolling out, and they're both running the same way, and the quarterback somehow back shoulders that to the wide receiver's hip, and the wide receiver slows down enough to catch it behind the DB who's in his hip pocket. Like, it's like, how does that even happen? Really? Yeah.
Well, first off, Jermon was in great coverage.
I mean, great. His hand was literally right there as the ball like went right by it.
It's clearly shown, and he's done it. Like, if you throw at him, it's going to be a pick or an incomplete pass, or it's going to have to be one of the plays of the game / one of the plays of the season for your team to execute on him. because this play is a backup quarterback. It's an absolutely beautiful ball, dime throw, perfect location. They're hand fighting. He holds Jermon McCoy off and hand fights him with his left to catch it with his right.
Yeah,
That's just an NFL. That's an NFL play, man. It's an NFL throw, NFL catch, and honestly, it's NFL coverage because the coverage couldn't have been better. Sometimes they make plays, they get paid and get scholarships too. The other one, that was the one we were talking about with Boo. Like you see those a lot more in the NFL than maybe you do in college, where you just have a really good quarterback who's buying time, and at the point in time where you're trying to play man, and maybe he's already run his route, but now he starts readjusting. And so you see it all the time where if you're watching on YouTube and I'm the defender and I'm like trying to guard the laptop, I'm like, where's he going? But then he doesn't even show you where he's going. The quarterback throws it somewhere. Basically, the point is, no matter what you do, you're probably going to lose because the quarterback's throwing him open, and that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah, no, I mean it is, and you don't necessarily expect it from the backup.
Here
we are. Let's see. So they score 2-point conversion. This is where defense bows up. Hey, we can't let anything else happen this game, and nothing else does. Right? No more scores. On the next drive, I got D-line twist. Joshua Josephs is in the backfield, unblocked, and misses the tackle. They get a good gain on that. This was I think just like a 3 and out. Ends up a punt. But the only other thing I had on this drive is on the last play of the drive on the third down, Omar does a little twist around. He comes and gets in the quarterback's face as he's throwing the ball. JP beats his guy around the edge and gets held and is almost at the quarterback. So they both kind of make the quarterback get rid of it. And he kind of overthrows a wide receiver or underthrows. And then you see Jacoby going like this.
Oh, really?
At the wide receiver after the third down. And I started dying laughing. I'm going to
try to find that and clip it. It
was so funny. Let's see. Next drive, they run 2 quarterback draws back to back in light boxes, 5-man boxes. Then they try and run a little comeback, and Jermod is literally all over him and defends the ball. And I think that honestly ends that drive there. They make them punt. So it's just great defense. And then this is the last drive by defense. Little throwaway. Will comes unblocked on a blitz, and he misses the sack. The quarterback ends up throwing it away. Oh, no, this is all part of that drive. Yeah, because Jermod has good coverage on the sideline comeback, right? He bats the ball away. It is third down. Will comes on the blitz. He comes unblocked. Quarterback avoids him and then throws it away on third down. So now it's fourth down. We end up getting a sack, but it's Omar, and he does a face mask on the quarterback.
Yeah.
But he just beats his dude with a bull rush, which was great. So face mask, they get a first. This more pressure in the guy's face. JP around the edge, Hubs on the little loop, and pressure in the quarterback's face, incomplete. They get a false start and then a holding on James Pierce. So it's like 2 plays in a row. They're getting backed up. Joshua Joseph does a great job. He is being blocked by a tight end on this play. They have like tight end blocking him. It's the third down and long, and he beats the tight end, is like kind of pressuring the quarterback, is there to try and make that play. And the quarterback's like, all right, I got to get rid of it, and almost like pitches it to the running back. And then everybody just swarms and makes a tackle for like 3 or 4 yards. So now it's like 4th and 16 or whatever, 4th and 20 that they have to run. And they run like a little crossing route and he tries to complete it to him and Boo just comes up and I put like exclamation point tackle by Boo because it was never in doubt. He just came screaming and took Buddy out as soon as he caught the ball. And it was like no first down, no contest. We end up running the clock out and that's the game. So I was like, that was a good, just like exclamation point by the defense being like, guys, this ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna work.
It's just, kind of how we started the pod, just kind of, just kind of rambling and kind of getting it off our chest, or me getting it off my chest, kind of about the offense. And I know we're about to talk about them now, but maybe where that sounds a little negative or a little frustrating, it's the opposite with the defense. It's every game. It's just rinse and repeat. It's the same thing. It's naming multiple guys on the D-line, beating double teams, eating, and just being very impressive. And now, like I said, I've already gone on a rant about how good their eyes have been and whether we're in zone or whether we're in man. And realistically, it's just the linebackers that are the up and down because, to be honest with you, Kyler, it doesn't matter who it is in the defensive backfield. They've pretty much all every week played pretty damn good. And they all are like the same fast and physical, which is what every defensive coordinator at any level in America wants, is if I've got guys that are fast and physical and use their eyes. But, I mean, just think about it. Ricky, Jermon McCoy, your starters play really well. But then if you get Jalen McMurray to come in, then you got Boo and Christian that are both – when both of those guys are – no wonder they both play because they both make plays when they're in the game. It's wild to me that if someone made me pick right now, who do I want, Christian Harrison or Boo? It's like it's a toss-up. I would have to literally break down every play each of them have played, and I still think it'd be a coin flip. Then you go to your safeties, and Will Brooks has been – the playmaker back there with him and Jermon McCoy. Andre's been a little up and down, but he still is a pretty good player. You know, we like Jacoby. You like Christian Charles. It's like it's just wild, man. It's wild that every time we watch all these plays, it's just something that is repeatedly fast, physical, good play, good open field tackle, whatever the case may be. Like overall, I'm not saying that each of them maybe haven't done something poor here and there, but it's just like overall as a collective, it's wild, man. It is wild. Rinse and repeat with this defense. It's
it's wild to experience such a good defense.
Yeah, and like I said, the linebacking play is C+, B-, just because of the inconsistency, and we're still that good with everyone else.
Yeah, all right, let's jump into the offense. So I put optimistic offense because, like I said, once you watch the film and broke it down, you're like, dude, this is better. Like this offensive performance was better than the games in the past. Like games.
It was, yeah.
So I'm like, all right, like here we go, right? So you start. It's a good first drive with a scoring opportunity and a missed field goal. We haven't had that, recently. Good first drives. They just haven't happened. So, good like cut back to the backside by Dylan on the first run. Then we get some RPOs going. Did you see Miles
Pancake on the first run?
Yeah, I saw Miles Pancake. I actually really liked a Holden Stays Pancake a little later. That is, oh my God. It is insane.
Well, on that first play, Holden Stays came like he shot out of a cannon, and he met Buddy hard too on that.
Dude, there was a lot of really good blocking where I was if I wanted to show some stuff. We start hitting RPOs. We start, Brew outside. We run a play action. Kitzelman in the flat. We run another one, and he hits Kitzelman on a corner route, and it's Nico sitting in the pocket, feeling pressure, moving up in the pocket instead of thinking, I got to go roll out. He moves up in the pocket, keeps his eyes downfield, and hits Kitzelman again. And I'm like, Nico, I love that, bud. I didn't see that in games past. I saw you freak out and pull your eyes down. Your eyes are staying up. This is something I loved about you in high school when I watched your film, is that your eyes are always up. You were never like, oh, I'm going to run it. Your eyes are always up and you're trying to find guys. So it's like, here we are.
Two things overarching about Nico in this game is I thought Nico climbed the pocket, extended the play, made throws really well.
Yep.
The only thing that was maybe a little off in this game for him was some of his placements on either most of his hitches were good. He had one hitch on the second 7 to Chris, which was a little upfield, which is a long throw, which you got to be careful because someone will pick that house call it. Mm-hmm. Luckily, it was just a pass breakup, and then he had a couple of low throws on screens, but that's being very nitpicky. Everything else, like the guy I thought played a really pretty damn good game, in my opinion. I don't know about you.
No, I agree. I think there was just little tiny ball placement stuff that could have been better.
And I get that's nitpicky. I do.
Yeah. Another RPO to Brew. We got another great run. This is the Holden stays. This is a play. If you remember, Dylan pops the safety pretty well, like runs him over.
Yep.
If you're watching Holden stays on this play,
that's where he does it.
Pancakes, buddy, 9 yards downfield. Like he is driving him for 9 yards and then just drops on him. And I was like, oh yeah, baby. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. That's what gets me going. I'm pitching 10 over here watching this.
That's what gets the big fella excited downstairs.
Oh boy. Let's see. There's on these RPOs, there's a time because like we get close right down into the red zone and then it kind of stalls. And I'm like, all right, what's causing the stall, right? You know, there's a missed block in Carrick when he pulls. So it's like a just tackle at the line of scrimmage. Then Nico pulls on the RPO, but then looks over at one of his wide receivers and is like, oh, I can't throw it. Then he gets tackled for loss. And it's like, listen, I said it earlier. You have 3 options on RPO. Running back gets it, quarterback runs it, or quarterback throws it. As the quarterback, you got to make a decision. You got to be better about what decision you're making. And when that play doesn't work, I'm sorry to say, it's not on anybody else.
Well, they said Jordan Ross, which I don't know if he was, or Jordan Rogers, I don't know if he was correct on this, but he proclaims he pulled it and looked at Holden Stays that should have been there for a little hitch, and he wasn't looking. So that's what he said.
Holden Stay is, I guess he could, but there was also people in front of Holden. Brew was more open on the outside doing the exact same hitch. And there's also the thought process of you could have handed it off too, because the O-line was blocking for that run. So it's like, if the play doesn't work, it's because of one guy. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, unless it drops the ball or fumbles or something, like it's not one guy.
Yeah.
Then you get a holding on Campbell. I literally was like, where the hell are you going? Because there's a down lineman that's right over top of him, and he takes his pass set and literally steps 1, 2, and literally gives a guy an inside lane. So then he has to readjust on the guy, and then he's holding him, and then that backs us up. And then, we try a little screen on the outside. Brazel has a couple of blockers in front of him, but can't take advantage of it. And we have to kick a field goal. We miss it. So it's just like little shit like that where you got 10 guys doing the right thing and one guy not, that it just stalls the entire operation.
Yeah, that's why I just wrote down, I literally got to it and I watched those 3 plays and I said, well, there it is, the stall out, misassignments, penalties, and just not playmaking.
Yeah. So missed field goal. Next time out, we hitting some RPOs. We're doing it again. Nico misses Brew on a hitch. But then next play, Nico, absolute dime to Chaz Nimrod on an out route. Just absolute freaking dime. Incredible.
I tweeted this one out. I mean, 3rd and 7, big spot. You need it.
Added rusher.
They're playing off coverage. It's like, okay, if they're off coverage and the guy was a little inside shade, I know I got Chaz in the slot. Let me just let him get to 10 to 12, whatever it is, break out. And so Chaz does a really good job but the pass placement and timing was perfect. That's a long throw. He did have the guy that he could at least see in his face. I don't think he ever was worried about getting hit, but he can still see it, which makes it more difficult. And then the catch to get your foot in, man, I tweeted out like that's elite. That's pro level stuff.
Yep.
And then let me just say this very next play that got called back. Loved it. I love the play design. It's beautiful. It's basically a little fake screen. Holden stays, creeps up, but you also have your other instead of because
taking those DBs back.
Well, it's like the number one receiver kind of runs everybody out, which you can do that sometimes instead of having, say, if you get 3 wide receivers to one side, instead of having 2 of them block and 1 of them catch it and try to get up, you can try to run 1 guy out to hold the eyes, pull people off, still throw the screen and have a blocker 1v1 type deal. But this is like, it was levels. It was literally a levels. Like the guy shows like he can get caught right there. Holden Stace goes up, fakes his little block, turns around, then you get your third guy. And it's short side of the field, so it's not that long of a throw. So Nico literally looks, reads it, and it's like bing, bang, boom, who you want. And it just sucked that we got called back for illegal touching because we didn't
we weren't lined up correctly, so illegal touching. But we literally have the same concept in 2 different spots later on in the game and get big yards on it.
Yeah.
Where we hit Kitzelman and we hit Stays, like where it's almost the same kind of thing. We have 1 wide receiver running off the guys. We have 1 guy in the flat pulling people up, and then 1 guy's kind of in the hole, in the zone. So it doesn't work.
I like this direct snap.
Direct snap to Dylan. Now
it didn't work out well, but I love the wrinkle.
Well, and we have not done it all year. So there had to have been something in film where they go, hey, listen, if we look over to the sideline, Kentucky's going to take a knee. They're going to not pay attention because this is what they've been doing versus other teams. Kentucky stayed. I rewatched it, and the linebackers are sitting there like, hey, keep looking. Like they're calling out. So for some reason, they were able to, stay engaged. Didn't work out. And then we got play action. 1-on-1, Brazel goes on a deep ball. Nico, perfect placement, and he drops it. And it's like, Nico's kind of sitting there like, I don't know what else you want me to do, man. Like we already got a first down when I threw the ball to Stays. Guys lined up wrong. Now I throw another great ball to Brazel for a touchdown, and the guy drops it. The next play, I wanted to kind of be like, hey, Nico, let's find somebody on the next play. They send 6. He's got an okay amount of time. He tries to scramble. Doesn't get it. This is kind of when he gets rolled up on. But later on in the game, literally just as an off, they have Cole Kublik breaking down blitzes. And he breaks down this play, and he shows the wide angle. And Brew is on the very outside running like a dig/post, and it's just wide open, just absolutely wide open. If you hit him, he might take it the distance. And those are one of those things where I'm just like, I feel like I remember Hendon Hooker making these plays. You know what I mean? In 2022, when the blitz was coming and there were 6 guys, and he would step up and be like, I know that Brew is running this route. I know where he's going to be. So even though I am getting pressure in the face, it's like I know I could throw it there for him based off of the defense I'm seeing, all that stuff. And maybe it's just he's 8 games into his career, so he's not quite there yet. But it's those kind of things where man, I remember that working in 2022.
No, and I agree, but it's and I don't want to sound like I'm still defending this, that, and the other for Nico, because I'll call stuff out and say this has got to be better, this has got to be better if that's the case. And I don't want to keep saying, well, he's only played 8 games, he's only played 9 games. But I've already said it on this pod, and I said it on Talking Vols on Wednesday. It's like I'm giving the kid the entire season.
Yeah.
Let him get the entire season under his belt, and then hopefully next year when we're playing in a big game, I mean, it would be great is if in 2 weeks when we're in Georgia, and if they show the same thing, he knows he's got Brew there. But that's probably not likely. Hendon Hooker had played a ton of football, and by the time he was in 2022, he was old. Like he was older and more mature, but he'd also seen a lot of live bullets flying in the game. And so
in
you just
2021, he got 8 games of that season. So it's like he had even more experience in the offense than Nico does right now.
It's just how many times has he seen that? How many times has he seen that? And he can go back to his Rolodex and be like, oh yeah, I remember this. Like I know that he's so yeah.
So end up punting there. Next drive, I love this first play.
Yeah,
it is you bring Squirrel in that motion, fake sweep to him.
Oh, I just forgot about something. This is not to knock Squirrel, but there's a couple things coaching-wise that I noticed in this game. And on that 3rd and 7, having Chaz Nimrod in there compared to Squirrel, I don't know if that just happenstance. I don't know if they just got
that catch, man.
What?
Squirrel doesn't make that catch.
No. And that's what I was about to say. Squirrel has the ability to make that catch, and
Not
Squirrel
now,
he has the ability to make the catch, and he's made big-time catches while he's been at Tennessee. But I don't have right now where we stand. I don't even know if it's 50-50 that Squirrel catches that. I'm like, bro, that's 80-20.
No.
Like, I'm thinking it's 80-20 he drops that. So I was like, oh, thank gosh, there's my guy Chaz. Plus, Chaz is like the Kentucky killer. And Chaz had a chance to really be the Kentucky killer if he didn't drop the one late in the game on the deep post.
Yeah.
Because if he catches that boy is gone.
Gone. House call. So next drive, this is a great play design. Fake sweep, Squirrel coming on the motion, then Dylan from the opposite side goes out into the flat, little bubble out to him. He's got Kitzelman and he's got Brew ahead of him.
Great blocking by both. Great blocking.
Both of them. Brew does a fantastic job just pushing his dude inside. Kitzelman comes and blows Buddy up, puts him on his
Bobby
back.
Boucher style.
And Dylan gets the first down. Then we start running the ball, start getting positive yardage, and Dylan gets the ball ripped out.
Self-inflicted wounds.
And it's one of those like, damn it. I wanted to be mad at Dylan, but it's also like, I see how that's really difficult. Like he does have both arms around the ball. He's trying to hold on to it, but he just makes a good play and rips it.
So, little foreshadowing as we move on here. You think they set him, and that's why we just see Deshaun and then we see Peyton Lewis the next couple drives?
Well, no.
Okay.
I think because when I saw later Dylan actually motioning over to the sideline like I'm good, that it was maybe like a "Are you okay?" kind of thing. Deshaun Bishop goes out, right? He gets hurt, and they literally take him off the field. So then our third string running back is Peyton Lewis.
Okay.
And I think there was a little bit of like, hey, if we can win this game with Peyton Lewis getting some touches and Dylan doesn't get hurt, like we're going to be in a good spot, right? Like, let's not overthink this. Let's, also with their entire thought process on how they get guys ready by playing multiple guys in multiple positions. All right, Peyton, here we go. Deshaun got hurt. We're going to need you the next games that we have coming. Show me something, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep you in this entire drive, not take you out. Let me see what you can do.
Plus, you just don't want to kill Dylan. He's our entire offense. You don't just want to wear the workhorse out. But I was happy with what I saw.
Freaking touches heated up with.
I was happy with what I saw from Peyton Lewis. I think, and this is just going to practice. Actually, when we went to practice,
Yeah, I mean, Dylan still had 27 carries. You know what I mean? It's like you kept him out for a little bit, but it wasn't like hey, I'm punishing you. It's like
so that's why I asked, because I was like, I don't know if this is a punishment thing from the fumble. It just seemed weird because it was like it was Deshaun, then Deshaun goes out, and instead of putting Dylan back in, they bring Peyton. But I just can't express how imposing Peyton Lewis is in person. The guy is built. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you that means he's going to be an All-American running back. I'm not sitting here telling you he's going to be better than Dylan Sampson or Jalen Wright or Jabari Small or even what we've seen from Deshaun Pitt. I'm not saying all that.
Yeah.
But we know how fast he is because he was a track guy in high school. His highlight tape from high school was just gone. And then when we were within 2 feet of him when we went down on the field before the Florida game, and I was like, I mean, this buddy is built. So if he can learn how to run with his behind his pads, he could be an absolute punisher with his speed.
Yeah, for sure.
I just had to shout that out for people that don't get to walk right by these dudes because he's huge.
He's huge. He really is. So Dylan fumbles. Next drive, we put a good one together. We hit Dante on a comeback. We have Deshaun on a good counter play. Brew is on a comeback and breaks 2 tackles, runs down the sideline. It's like those are those Brew plays that I love, absolutely love. He's so much stronger than everybody else out there. Just throws dudes off of him.
My favorite play about that, or my favorite part of that play, wasn't the 2 break tackles. It's that he's going at the end. And I've brought it on here before. It's an absolute pet peeve of mine that a running back or a receiver will go out of bounds, just kind of take himself out. What does Brew do? Brew's like, I'm finding more work. He looks at Buddy. He lowers his shoulder on that linebacker, hits him, and then he gets up and lets him know about it. I'm like, that's a different breed of receiver.
Exactly. So we get a false start. So you think like we got down there with Brew, then we get a false start, and it's kind of like, oh God, here we go again, right? Like we're delaying ourselves again. We hit Squirrel on a little bubble. He gets a few yards, sets us up in like a third manageable, a down and distance that the defense doesn't know if you're going to run it or throw it. What do? Great call, play, action, shot. Kitzelman going right across the middle, wide open, hits him in the hands. He catches it. Freaking gets laid out in the end zone and ball pops up in the air, and it's just, God damn it. You know how much I love those plays.
Yeah,
and then to see that, I'm like, that's it. It's there.
So
and another dropped touchdown. And it's like I can't be super mad at Kitzelman. Like it's a good play by the defender. He hits right at the ball. But at the same time, I'm like, catch it. God dang it. Like, I know it sucks. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. I know that making those kind of catches aren't easy. But I need you to. I need you to catch it.
So I really, really, really try extremely hard not to be hindsight 2020 guy. Oh, you should have thrown it there. You're an idiot. You should have ran it there. Oh, we should have been in May. No, like if you were going to call it before the snap and let me hear it, and then we can have a conversation about it. But this one right here, I'm going to be a little fansy, and tell me if I'm wrong. Call me out on this. I feel like a lot of these plays that we run that you and I love, the Jacob Warrens of the past, that he would run the little play action pop pass. I feel like Nico tried to throw a pop pass when I'm like, bro, you got to, like where he is in there, if you put a little bit more steam on it and so he doesn't have to lollygag catch it here and try to bring it down, if you can put that thing in a little bit tighter, a little bit quicker, get it in there, maybe that split second, he catches it a little bit quicker, tucks a little bit quicker, and they can absorb the hit. I know that's being a little nitpicky, but I'm just saying that was not a spot where the pop pass should be a pop pass when there's like no one around him. Like kind of that's – I look at it more instead of the pop pass. That's more of a seam route and let it zip in there. Am I wrong?
I think I think what you said in the very beginning, like it is like hindsight is 2020 on that, where it's like,
Okay.
I'm gonna put it on my dude's helmet. Like that's pretty much what he does. Is like I'm gonna put it right here on dude's helmet, so he can literally just make that catch. Yeah, maybe it's a little high, but it's also like, hey, you're going across the middle, and there's 3 linebackers there. That like went for the play fake, but it doesn't mean their bodies aren't still there and they might jump up. Like it's like, the whole design of the play is to kind of pop it over the defenders, hope that even the safeties come up for the run, which is what the front side safety did, but not the backside safety.
It was like I said, it was a really good play by that backside safety. He got his eyes. He recognized he went in there. It was a good legal hit. My thing is just those pop passes are usually the play design's a little bit different. And like I said, that one, instead of being a play action, quick pop, I felt like that was more of a play action fired in there on a seam. That's just me, but we can agree to disagree.
Yeah. And then I have to say this because there's a slide protection and Lance just shows absolutely no urgency whatsoever, doesn't try and come down with any form of, gusto, just kind of takes a step, then just like lets the guy just push him back into the backfield. And Dylan has to try and pick him up. And it's a 3-man rush and all in Nico's face. And I'm just like, what the frick are we doing here? Like, Lance, I don't know how to explain this anymore to you, but you have the fucking B gap, dude. Whoever's in the B gap, pick him up. The guy comes screaming through the freaking B gap. The guy's lined up in the B gap. Your slide protection right. He's right there. There's nowhere else for you to go. Why is this difficult? Why are you having problems with this play? Why are you on your ass 7 yards in the backfield on this play? Huh?
Yeah, so what do you think?
Left tackle? You want to be all SEC? Get the fuck out of here. You can't be all SEC with that shit. I'm in the O-line room right now. Like this is how I would be talking.
Yeah, I feel you.
Oh. And then a missed field goal again. So not great. All right, here comes the Peyton Lewis drive.
Yep.
This entire drive, he does a good job running downhill, getting positive yardages. And like, I don't know if I really saw a cut the entire drive. He was just like, I'm running straight. I'm running through these freaking arm tackles. I'm trying to get as many yards as I could, but he did a good job on it. Agreed.
So
he's following blockers.
That's what I was about to say. I thought blocking was good on this one.
Yeah. He's
on this drive, not just that play.
He's got good blocking. He's following blockers. This is deep ball to Brew, where it's a PI. Yep. They don't call it. When you said on the last drive you could be nitpicky about something, I could probably be nitpicky about this and say, hey, Brew, you kind of slowed down because you had to based off of how the ball was thrown. But what I would probably prefer more is not necessarily like the slowdown. Like it was like he slowed down enough to where it was still an over-the-shoulder catch. You understand what I'm saying? Where it's like, hey, slow down enough to where it's a jump ball turnaround like we saw Marquez Callaway do so many times on deep balls. You know what I'm saying?
I disagree. Being in that position where you're running to try to go find that, you got to be an elite level athlete to do that, to be able to like kind of stop and jump. I hear you, but I don't know. I'm probably never going to question someone to do that there. The thing is it just should have been PI and we should have been done with it.
I'm just saying on 50-50 balls, when wide receivers do that, it's either a catch or it's a PI almost because the DB has his back turned, he's in your hip pocket, and you jump before he does, and the DB is hitting you as the ball gets there without even trying to. He's doing a PI. So it's like, I don't know. In those kind of circumstances, literally me, myself, and I, how I feel like if I were ever out there is to jump up and go grab it.
Yeah, but you don't. But the thing is like when you're going and you're on a deep shot and you're going and he's taking off running as fast as he freaking can. He's got to step on the guy. It's so hard to kind of like stop your body, being able to adjust. It's like, like if you're going up for a layup, that's easier because you're kind of going to something. But this one, you're kind of leaning, and then it's like, well, now what? Do I need to stop and then jump up, or am I going to try to jump and rotate off one? It's just really hard to do. And in that spot, I don't know. I just,
like I said, hindsight kind of thing. I can't.
3rd and 5, Kyler, I freaking love that he ran it here. It was really nice blocking. It was hard running. And it was a 5-man box. So I love that.
Yeah. Lewis trips over Lance. I don't know. I want to know this. I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to do this, but a DB coming up and cutting a pulling offensive lineman, I don't think you're allowed to do that. Like, because I know offensive linemen are not allowed to pull and cut DBs anymore because they were saying that, like, this isn't fair for them. I don't think that if you're not on the line of scrimmage, that you can come from deep and cut an offensive lineman, because that's what the buddy does. He literally cuts Lance while he's pulling around.
Yeah, I'm not sure we'd have to check. I'm not sure we'd have to check that. But even though if you're not allowed to cut them, they're still going to come up and get super low and act like they're just taking you on with the shoulder, and he's still going to just topple over him.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It would be hard to. But anyways,
yeah. Then we got a batted ball line scrimmage.
Did you see this blocking by Mike Matthews?
Mike Matthews, incredible blocking, incredible blocking. Pancakes, buddy, on a screen.
I'm gonna tweet it out. I'm gonna tweet this exact same thing out. But Kyler, this is what culture looks like, where you got a 5-star, biggest recruit of the class, maybe. Or he might have been whatever, but a 5-star recruit, big time player coming in. He hasn't seen the field like the fans have probably wanted him to, like he's maybe wanted to. He comes in and he's giving all out effort for someone else catching the ball.
Yeah.
And then I also love to see it, just besides him dumping the guy, then I love to see him getting up and getting fired up. Like, this ain't like, that's not a play of a diva wide receiver. And that's what I think so great. Like, you got dudes like that coming out, giving everything on a culture. Giving everything like that, I think it speaks to the culture.
For sure. Then, there's some plays like I wrote down Reed man makes the tackle for loss. When that happens, when the backside guy chases down the running back and makes the tackle, the only person I can blame is the quarterback. The only person. I cannot blame anybody else. That it is on him, because you should have either pulled it or sold it more. Your technique and whatever decision you made is what made that play happen. I'm sorry, but that's why quarterbacks get paid the most. That's why they're their most important position on the team. That's why you're going to get paid the most as Nico in this NIL era, because plays like that where you think, hey, backside guy made the tackle, offensive line did a good job, running back did a good job, he took the handoff. Why is that a breakdown? Why are we in 2nd and long? Literally the quarterback, and he's the only one who can affect that. So it's just plays like that. It's like you have to say something, right? Yeah. You have to coach the quarterback on something on that play, because the only reason it was a negative play is because of that. It was blocked correctly. It could have been positive.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I mean, I think that's a great point. I do like what he did on 4th and 5, though.
Love it.
Yeah. Make a play.
Yeah, he's got a clean pocket. He's got time. Nobody's open. So he's like, all right, I'm using my legs. I'm getting out of here. I'm going around the outside, gets a first down.
I do appreciate Peyton Lewis slipping out, and he was there if Nico had needed it. But I just thank goodness finished the drive.
This is a play, because you were talking about we hit, right? Or we hit the guy in the zone. So tight end in that little zone with the running back or with the wide receiver just running the safety off. So Mike Matthews runs the safety off. Kitzelman kind of hits in that zone, and we get a nice, good chunk play, get in a good position. And then it's just 3 straight runs in a row. We're down near the goal line. We're running the ball. Peyton Lewis is back there. He just runs straight, just runs forward, run forward, run forward. And then that last, play and goal line, it just makes me so happy that we have this in our offense, because in years past we didn't, and we were in a pistol or in a shotgun or not under center, and me and you would talk about it and be like, where is our short yardage stuff? What can we do on short yardage? And now we're just bring the extra tight end, bring in Moy, bring in number 27, the biggest freaking running back we got, and it's just big on big on big, power touchdown.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Loved it. Then the next time we get the ball is right before half, and this is that weird clock runs out.
Great post to start it, and then but then the running back dump kills it. So
yeah, I personally, if it was me, it would be in my eyes, I would go post spike.
Yeah, agree.
I would run another play if I got a big chunk spike.
Yeah.
Just immediately just keep spiking, knowing I have no timeouts. Offense, if there is a big play, go get up on the ball. We're spiking.
Yeah.
Regardless.
I agree.
Okay, so
Nico, this is another one where he keeps his eyes downfield, climbs pocket, finds Miles again. Beautiful way to start.
Yeah.
3rd and 3. Third and 3, great hard running and blocking. Great hard running by Dylan, great blocking. And it was a nice pull by old John Campbell.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. This is a great play. It's we get up on the ball. It's a quick snap. Dylan, they send a blitz off the edge. Dylan does a great job, scans over, picks up the blitzer. Nico sitting there, steps up in the pocket with his eyes downfield, and then finds Kitzelman down the sideline. And it's just all right, that's when 11 guys do the thing that they're supposed to do. We went fast. No one was confused. Everyone picked up their blocks. Nico stepped up, didn't put his eyes down, hit his guy, positive yardage, big gain. That's the stuff we love to see. Dylan spinning off tackles like crazy. Just 2 plays in a row where he's breaking tackles off spins. It's great. They said
that's the thing that I was referring to about Peyton Lewis, talking how big Peyton Lewis is, and you see these guys that are just monsters, but sometimes the you got a littler or smaller individual. Not that Dylan's necessarily small. I mean, he is smaller, but still, he's still built well and stuff. But it's football, man. It's just it's sometimes who plays faster and who plays more physical and violent, and that center of gravity balance, man. It's you see someone with the size and speed of Peyton, you're oh, you think he would do it. It's nah. It's Dylan's special, man. I love how when he gets going like that.
They called us. They said on the broadcast that we're 88% on the season in the red zone, and I honestly thought we were worse. I was surprised it was 88%. I thought that our offense has been doing worse, and I'm oh, well, that's kind of optimistic. I thought it was worse than that.
You just said a stat that I forgot to shout out on defense, and it was I just forgot about it, but it was the first play of the game, and they said that the defense had only that was the first play of the game when they made the long run. That was only the 4th play that the Tennessee defense has given up over 30 yards.
That's crazy. Also being number one in the nation on 3rd down. Number 1
on the money down.
I would like to see. I haven't looked it up. I could probably just do it right now if I really wanted to. But our 4th down conversion, because I think we're number 1 in that too.
It's probably really good.
Has to be. Anyways, Nico throws a hitch out to Brazel on an RPO, and it's a pass breakup. But it hits Brazel in the hands, and it's one of those ones where you're I guess he leads him a little bit into it, but also go grab the ball. Also, like have strong hands and catch it.
This is what I was talking about. I don't like the placement here. That's a long throw. You got to like get it to the outside.
Yeah. Still hit him in the hands though. Kentucky does a good job on defense on a bubble screen where guy looks like he's coming. He's up on the line, actually drops, gets over there, and now we have less men than to block. Right? They have more guys on the outside, so they kind of get tackled right there at the line. So 4th down, kick a field goal, miss. So 3 missed field goals in a row. Let's see. Next drive. I actually like this kind of play. We started with a little delayed screen to Holden Stays, where he's like in blocking, and then he just kind of like turns around, and the O-line gets ahead of it. When we get positive yardage on it, I think it's something that it's just like a fun little wrinkle to put in there. Let's see. Hit Brazel for first on RPO. Bunch of counters and duo plays is what I call them, just down the field, just running the ball, hitting them in the mouth. And then Dylan, just a great adjustment, just great eyes by him, sees all of us, all the, O-line tight ends working together, blocking down. He finds that backside close down to the end zone, just shrugs off the first tackler, second tackler hits him right before the end zone. He goes in, ties the school record for touchdowns. But just a great drive put together right there.
And it was, obviously it was real. It's very Disney. It's very Cinderella story, very movie cliche, but it was really cool that he ends and breaks the record with every one of his teammates helping him get in the end zone.
Yeah, no, on the next one, the couple drives later, I'm talking about.
Oh, you were talking about the one he tied it. I'm sorry.
So I'm talking about the one he ties.
Gotcha.
And this is honestly such a big thing because we missed the field goal on our first drive. Defense causes the fumble. Okay, this is the strip sack, and then we score. And like such a huge momentum boost, we go up 14-10. So this was such a huge drive. Let's see. Next one. So 3 plays, 3 and out. I got backside read, makes the tackle. Okay, so another coaching point like I talked about with Nico. Then we got a play action to Kitzelman in the flat for like 3 or 4 yards. Then he has time. There's a blitzer coming. He's hot off the blitzer. And he waits and waits and waits and then overthrows Brew.
Yeah.
Or actually he overthrows the inside guy. And Brew was
the outside guy. Yeah. I know what you're
talking about.
Brew was
wide open if he throws it to him. And it was just kind of like not a very good drive altogether right there. Next one out. Let's see. Oh, this next one is after the Will Brooks interception. Okay. So we get all the way down there. Will Brooks is like, gets us down to like the 10 or whatever. I think we run the ball once and then we do this play action and Nico rolls and hits Kitzelman in the back of the end zone. And it looks like Kitzelman just goes, I'm not running that. Like he was supposed to go across all the way to the backside. And it was like he got into his route and then looked and was like, look at all those defenders over there. And Nico's running the other way.
He goes,
I'm just going to turn and look at Nico.
Yeah.
And Nico kind of like saw that eye contact because you even see after he scores, Kitzelman like looks over at him, points, and like gives him a thumbs up. Like, hey, good job. Like we kind of were both on the same page there.
That's just the scramble drill. That's the scramble drill.
Yeah, it's just a scramble drill. And then you saw Nico come off the field and Heupel cover his mouth and talk to him. And I know for a fact Heupel was like, hey, don't throw the ball across your body like that back into the middle of the field when we're in the end zone and we have a field goal in our back pocket. Please, I know it worked, but
Be careful.
Just be careful, okay? But obviously he doesn't want to say that to him out loud after the guy just scored a touchdown. So it's just like hey, be smart.
Be smart.
Your effort, but let's be smart. So we score on that one.
Just honestly, though, great job by Nico to keep the eyes downfield and for Miles. Like, I just think those are the playmaking. Like, when we mentioned you got to make plays and be a playmaker to win big games, like, those are the type of plays that you're going to need against Georgia or Vandy, or if we get in the playoff, like, both of them, both guys. I mean,
exactly. Next drive, it ends up being a punt, but Nico hits Brew on a good play action crosser, and things are looking positive. And it's a second down, and this is where Nico hits Chaz in the smallest of windows and hits him right in the gut, and he drops that ball. That's an easy touchdown. And it's just, man, those missed opportunities. And we come in here and we're sticklers for it. And we call out Nimrod for the drop ball. And people might say, hey, that's a tough one to catch because you got a guy behind you. You got a safety coming across. But guess what? When Alabama won all their national championships, motherfuckers catch that ball. When Clemson won their 2 national championships, they were catching that ball. Okay? These guys who have won national championships over the past 15, 20 years, their wide receivers catch that ball almost every time. So
I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all.
If you want to beat Kentucky, yeah, you don't have to. But if you want to win a natty, if you want to win an SEC championship, you got to. You have to make those catches.
Agreed completely.
And then last drive ends with Dylan getting the end zone. Great first play, or not. I don't know if this is the first play. There's another one where we hit the tight end. So Dylan goes out into the flat. Linebackers follow him. I think it's Squirrel clears out the DBs. He starts streaking downfield, and then Holden is just in that little zone void, and it's a completed pass to him. And I just absolutely love it that it's like you have a guy in the flat, you have a guy in the void, and you have a guy deep, and they have to make the defense make the decision. This play where it's almost a strip sack. Nico sitting there. How nerve-wracking was that?
Dude, I saw it, and I was like, oh, my gosh, this is about to be disastrous.
Yeah, because it was so long. He was sitting back there forever.
I know.
Forever.
Get rid of it.
I mean, it was inches away.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nico pulls it on a zone read, and I don't think he should have. I think he should have given it. And I think he gets a couple yards. He gets 5 or 6 yards, run to the outside, runs out of bounds. But I honestly think he should have given it because the play was blocked really well for Dylan. This play by Nico is another example. You can almost put it up like golf, where you make that one shot and that's what keeps you coming back. Nico makes these throws that keep me coming back. His deep ball to Dante versus Bama, that's what keeps me coming back. Yeah. This play action rollout moves around defenders as he's running and hits Dante low and away, exactly where your receiver can get it for first down, third down. And it's this is why he's a 5-star. This is why he's our quarterback. This is why we want this guy out there.
Dude, I tweeted that out right when it happened. I said that's elite throw and catch because it was a hell of a catch. If we're talking about how Chaz dropped that one right in his belly, right in his gut, and then Dante, big old Dante's got to go all the way down, catch it with his hands right in a tight window. Those are the plays that you beat good teams with.
Yeah.
Incredible. Definitely. I mean, oh my God, that was such a relieving. When he threw it, I was like, that's a great ball. I don't know if he's catching this. And he did. And I was like, thank goodness. That was the.
Yep. And then We get into another hey, we need a first down, third down. What do we do? RPO to Brew. Brew forces his way for a first down. Another hey, Mr. Reliable out there. I love that he's there. And then Dylan breaks one tackle. One guy is there. He breaks that one tackle and is sitting there kind of no man's land, just pushing. Carrick starts it, but then all 10 other guys on the field push that man into the end zone. And that is such a this is what kind of fucking culture we have here. That play right there to get the record with your entire team literally on your back, helping you get it, and to put an exclamation point on this game, it makes me love this team, regardless of what happens the rest of the way through this season. I love this team because of that kind of stuff that I see. Yeah, there's mistakes. Yeah, people drop balls. Yeah, people are missing blocks. Yeah, people are having stupid penalties, and that pisses me off. But, man, the fight that this team has and how much they care about their guys proves that I believe in you now because of how much you care about this. And those are the kinds of things I don't think any of those guys will ever forget that play for the rest of their lives. They will remember that for the rest. Dylan Sampson, the record holder at Tennessee, got a touchdown with every single offensive player pushing him into the end zone.
Just since Heupel's been here, man, there's just been a lot of great things. And as I mentioned it earlier, talking about the culture where you got Mike Matthews out there blocking his ass off.
Yep.
And a lot of the other receivers do it too. I mean, I've never really saw since the whole 4 years Heupel's been here that I thought a guy was lacking on helping out and blocking for another teammate. But I was pointing out Mike because he hasn't probably had the season he wants. He's a big-time recruit. You see it all the time that these guys are a bunch of divas.
Yeah.
I was talking about it on Talking Vols when I was talking about how Nico came in last year. You didn't ever hear a peep about him except what a good teammate he was to Joe. He wasn't causing issues in the locker room. And then you got stuff like this. I mean, the only thing negative that I can ever think about with Heupel since he's been here that maybe you would hope that the football program as a whole would be a little bit different would be some of the penalties. At some different times, I think at some point I think there has been games where they've gotten better, but overall, like I said, what he's done's been great. And seeing stuff like this is just an example of it. There's no other better way to explain it. So, for me, Kyler, I'll always enjoy a win against Kentucky. I always enjoy a win against Florida, against Alabama.
Yep.
We're heading into Mississippi State. Just win the game, bro. Just for me, I'm not going to go into a long spiel about.
No, there's not things that we have to do to take advantage of Mississippi State's this and that. Mississippi State is a middling team. We have better coaching and better players. We should win this game.
That's
and
it.
It all comes down to execution.
Yep.
I wholeheartedly believe that our defense is going to hold them under 20 points. Yes. What is our offense going to do? When our defense is out in the field, I'm just laying back and enjoying the process. I'm just enjoying the show, right? Yep. When our offense is out in the field, I'm critiquing every motherfucker out there. That's where it got, dude. When our offense is out in the field, I'm watching everybody you son of a bitch. Where's your foot placement? What the hell are you doing with your hands? I'm all over their ass because it's just man, we're so close. We're so close.
Yeah. For me, man, I just fingers crossed for Mississippi State. I don't have any worries that we're going to lose a game. I'm not going to sit here and worry that the offense actually magically shows up. I'm not worried about those things. It is what it is. I just expect us to go out and win a semi-ugly game. The score might not be represented ugly. I still think and hope that this should be a 14 to 20 point win. But my biggest thing is I just hope there's no major issues, before we go down to Athens. But anyways, for me, that's it. Great pot as always.
You're gonna hit some of those deep balls versus Mississippi State and get Georgia just like thinking about it a little bit. You know what I mean? Just give a little tight butthole. When we actually hit the deep balls, I want the DBs to be like, hey, they can actually hit deep balls. You know what I mean?
You know what? I'd just rather hit them against Georgia. Maybe we miss them and we get them falling asleep this week.
Either way.
Hey, we're just playing. We're playing chess. Everyone else is playing checkers.
That's right.
We're just dropping them on purpose.
Yeah, just getting to lull. We're lulling them to sleep. This entire 5-game stretch, we've just been lulling them to sleep. That's it.
We're playing the long game, the real long game.
Setting everything up for Georgia. That's why, guys. That's why Heupel hasn't opened up the playbook. He's not playing Georgia. He'll open it up once we go to Athens. That's what he'll do.
And that's the damn truth.
All right, I'm going to check page right now.
I'm going to go watch the last 5 minutes of this Titans game.
All right, brother.
See you, man.
See ya. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. Love the comments. If you are just listening, rate, review, download, and re-download. Follow us on all those listening platforms. Also follow us on social media at Pancakes and Bacon for our main account on Twitter, at Pancakes and Bacon _RTI on Instagram. You can also follow Reed on Twitter at rbacon26. You can follow me on all social medias at Kyler Kerberson. So check me out there. Another great win for the Vols going into Mississippi State. Hopefully we can get another one on our belt before we head to Athens. But thank you guys for being the best fans in the world. And as always, go Vols.